everybody. Welcome to this month's Talks with the Docs. I'm Dr. Kelsey Crow, and I am at Sacred Chiropractic and Acupuncture in Kansas City, Missouri.
And hi, I'm Dr. Karen Williams. I am the acupuncturist here at Sacred Spa and Wellness in Schuylerville, New York. Welcome,
Wonderful.
Dr. Kelsey.
Thank you. Yes. Hello again. Today we're going to go over a little bit about seasonal allergies, how to prepare for this summer. We're going to talk about gardening, the type of plants to garden, how to do organic gardening, and then buying local and supporting your local farmers and that sort of thing to end. So, Dr. Karen, I'll let you take it away with the first part.
All right, thank you so much. Well, it is definitely spring here. It feels more like summer today, actually. It's in the 80s. So, but officially spring has arrived, and that means allergies have arrived as well. So there are quite a few people already feeling the shift in weather. And I've been seeing people with allergy symptoms like itchy, watery eyes and nasal congestion. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about how these symptoms can be managed or prevented altogether. So I'm just going to go over a few easy tips to help with that management of symptoms. So the first thing, acupuncture. I mean, come and book an appointment with either me or Dr. Kelsey if you're in Kansas City. But acupuncture is phenomenal at preventing seasonal allergies as well as helping manage symptoms. If you have nasal congestion or a headache or watery eyes, it's wonderful for that. So there was a study that was published a few years back in the American Journal of Rhinology and Allergy that showed acupuncture was effective at significantly reducing nasal symptoms, and there were no side effects. So it's really ideal to manage symptoms or before they even start. So you want to book an appointment, ideally a month before your symptoms typically start, and this will help allergies from becoming too severe. But if it's too late and you're already experiencing symptoms, acupuncture can still be very effective. So please come see us. We can help you with that with no side effects. That's the key. Another great tip is saline irrigation flushes with the neti pot. So this can be really effective at washing away pollen and other irritants that find their way in through the nasal passages. But it's very important to use water that's free from bacteria. So it must be distilled or water that has been boiled and cooled down, because you don't want to be putting more bacteria just from using tap water. So that's very important to keep that in mind if you are using a neti pot. But I have found it personally myself to be quite effective at clearing nasal passages and preventing sinus infections. Another thing you can do to minimize allergies this time of year is considering an air filter indoors. So HEPA filters, which are high efficiency particulate air filters, they can trap airborne irritants like pollen, dust, and pet dander. So it's especially helpful if you are allergic to pet dander or pollen or dust mites. HEPA filter can be very effective. You also want to keep your windows closed. That's another good tip. When the pollen counts are high, and if it gets too warm, consider using air conditioning, and that will definitely help remove moisture from the air and preventing mold and mildew growth. So your indoor environment's just as important as your outdoor as well. If you do spend quite a bit of time outdoors, if you're hiking or gardening or mowing the lawn, when you come in, you might want to shower right away to remove any allergens or pollen that's on your skin or hair. that would be a good idea to do that if you know you are allergic to anything outdoors. Another good thing really to do is wash your bedding once a week in not warm, not cool, but hot water. It must be hot water. And this will kill any dust mites or remove any animal dander or pollen. So you really want to clean things in hot water, especially if your clothes or garments have been contaminated as well. So you definitely want to get those off, get those in hot water, and then take a shower. That can help minimize your exposure and your symptoms if you are experiencing any. And another thing that I personally have found to be helpful as well is incorporating local raw honey every day into your diet. I mean, you could just stir it into your coffee or your tea or your smoothie in the morning, some oatmeal. According to a study that was published in International Archives of Allergy and Immunology, researchers have discovered that patients consuming raw honey on a daily basis reported 60% fewer symptoms. So that's quite a reduction in symptoms. And the key here is local honey, using local honey because it contains the same pollens and allergens that seasonal allergy sufferers need to address. So it must be local, and local really is defined as 25 to 30 miles within a 25 to 30 mile radius. Because it's the same vegetation, it's the same pollens that are released causing the seasonal allergies. So it's really important that it's local. And the best place to find that is at your local farmer's market. That's really ideal. Unless your neighbor has bees or you have bees yourself. I mean, that would be ideal, but it's very time consuming to do that.
Yes, I've also heard the comb is very good. So
yes,
not only just the honey, but the honeycomb.
That's key.
Yeah,
that is really ideal. Yeah, definitely.
mm-hmm.
Because you could. I mean, it's not just the. You could actually use the pollen as well.
Yeah,
very effective. Bee pollen.
Yes,
if
yeah.
you'd rather use that than the honey, but most people find it easier to locate actual honey. But if you can find pollen, feel free to sprinkle that in your yogurt or your oatmeal or your smoothie. That would be great too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, ideally, in an ideal world, the best way to handle allergies, especially seasonal allergies, is finding the root cause and trying to avoid that as much as possible. So, going to an allergist or an ENT, or a dermatologist, they can actually do testing to see what you're specifically allergic to. And that would be that would be the best way, But if you're not sure what's causing the allergies, you can try all the tips that I talked about, Or what's also very helpful is you can make seasonal changes to your diet. So as we all know that most of the immune system resides in our gut. So it's really important, especially this time of year, to keep the gut flora healthy and balanced. And that will help boost your immune system as well. So if you have any sensitivities to gluten, dairy, sugar, that can, try to avoid that because that can really lead to unhealthy, unbalanced gut microbiome, which can just help, exacerbate or worsen your allergies. So if you're suffering, you might want to just try adding maybe some probiotics or fermented food like yogurt or kombucha. That could be really helpful in relieving hay fever symptoms and congestion. Yeah, just working on your diet a little, just cleaning it up. Um, if you feel like something you're eating is triggering any kind of or making your allergies worse, um, you may want to consider an elimination diet, but that's a little more aggressive,
Mhm.
and many people might not want to do that. But I mean, it would be useful to do an elimination diet if you don't want to go through all the testing, whichever is easier for you. But there are some vitamins and supplements that can be helpful this time of year to also boost the immune system. I mean, most people already are supplementing with vitamin D, but just boosting that up a little bit more could be helpful. Um, Vitamin C also is really great at reducing histamine levels. So you may want to bump it up. Like if you're taking 1,000 milligrams a day, maybe you want to go to 2,000. And before you start, changing your dosage on your supplements or adding or taking away supplements, it's always a good idea to talk to your healthcare provider about that, because everyone is different. Everyone's situation is a little bit different. Omega-3 fatty acids are really, really great at helping manage allergy symptoms. Stinging nettles, that's a great herb. It's a natural antihistamine and it's really tasty. You can brew it into a tea and drink that a couple times a day, and it will clear you out. It will calm your watery eyes, your congestion. It's really great. That was a really popular treatment with the Native Americans. So, and it's still used today quite frequently. So, quercetin is also another great supplement that stabilizes the release of histamines, and which ultimately will help control the allergy symptoms you are experiencing. And quercetin can be taken as a supplement, or it can naturally be found in cruciferous vegetables like cauliflower or broccoli, or green tea, or oranges, citrus fruit, things like that. So, there are definitely things you can do, internally and externally in the external environment to help manage and minimize allergy symptoms. Also in Chinese medicine, we have some, in addition to acupuncture, we also have some really great herbal formulas that work wonderful for preventing and also treatment of allergy symptoms. So, if you're interested in some formulas, book an appointment with us and, we'll give you the full gamut of what you need, what will work best for your specific symptoms. So that's definitely something you can try. And in addition to that, there are also some great acupressure points you could do at home to relieve symptoms. And Dr. Kelsey, when she does her portion of the talk, she'll be talking more about that. So actually doing a demo, right? We'll do a demo on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. But yeah, so, that's pretty much what I have about, acupuncture, herbs, supplements, keeping things clean. That's the key, really, to help.
Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. Kind of going along those lines of how much acupuncture really helps, you can actually adjust the sinuses as well. So for those of you that don't get adjusted, maybe this is a time to get more frequently adjusted, because you can actually, help those sutures open up. So I usually adjust like the front facial bones, the maxillary sinus, that sort of thing, to kind of open up and release the drainage. We can actually also adjust the ears. So by doing an ear check, it'll release drainage down the back of your throat if your ears feel like they're having extra fluid and extra pressure. Like those are some things that as chiropractors I can also do. So
So Dr. Kelsey, like after the adjustment, you would do some like lymphatic drainage? Like,
Not so much. Well, like I massage it a little bit,
okay.
not like a crazy amount, but you can actually adjust the ear bones, and that'll release the pressure like
That's
in down
great.
inside. Yep. And then when you adjust like the frontal sinus right here, you kind of separate the suture just a little bit, not much, but enough to kind of create like the pressure change just a little bit to where everything drains.
Oh,
So if
wow. Oh,
if
that's
you're like stuck, if it's just not moving and you're really wanting it to drain out, adjusting like the face and the ears can really help things go down the back of your throat. So yeah.
Thank you for
But
enlightening me on that. I did not realize you can adjust the facial bones to help with sinus drainage.
yeah, most people don't know that's something that you can do. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely something. I've done it multiple times here recently with all of the allergies that are going on. So
Thank
um,
you.
yeah, yeah. And then I also wanted to mention facial gua sha. So for those of you that already kind of do like a facial routine at home, you're maybe already doing gua sha, but here's an example of one. This is my horn that I use, but basically the acupuncture points that I'm going to show you later, but you can use the gua sha stone to help, like you said, lymphatic drain. So the key for this is I actually had someone mention that they were only going to like their ear and then they were having like an earache. The key to this is actually draining it into the subclavian artery. So how you get it all the way down your neck is important. So I usually start out with like tapping the lymph nodes around the ears, tapping the lymph nodes by the eyes and the nose, and then you can actually do the base of the neck and even down into the armpit or the axilla area, whatever you want to call it. It's important to open all those lymph nodes. And then you can take your facial gua sha and actually go across. This is like that arch here. This is the zygomatic arch and the maxillary bone. And you can go across and down, kind of like that, to create this opening of the sinuses. That being said, the same can be done for the frontal sinus. So if you feel like more pressures up here and behind your eyes, instead of like runny nose, maybe up here is where you need to be doing it. But you can kind of dig in right by your eyebrow and go across then that orbit right across the eye. You can go up and across, but make sure, once I said you're bringing everything to the ear, you then go down the neck and the front of the neck and the back of the neck to drain all of that you just brought from your sinuses, properly drain it down your neck. And then I even go across the clavicle area to the axilla, to the underarm area. So that way you're draining it all properly and it's not getting stagnant in one area. And then that is actually where your lymph kind of recirculates in your body. Is at that like axillary region, at that subclavian artery and vein. So that is my tip for facial gua sha. And then I noticed that you also talked about histamine. So my favorite supplement for histamine is actually something called D-Hist by Orthomolecular. I don't know if you've ever used their products or not, but
No,
what'd you say?
I have not.
You haven't? Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
not
So
yet.
it's something that I've used for like the past couple years or so for people that have really bad allergies, but it's a natural like histamine response react like supplement. It has, I actually like pulled it up. So I have the actual orthomolecular description here, but it is a targeted blend of flavonoids, antioxidants, proteolytic enzymes, and botanicals designed to provide comprehensive support for seasonal allergy changes caused by common environmental allergens. The formula includes quercetin, bromelain, stinging nettle leaf, and N-acetylcysteine. The powerful combination actively promotes healthy nasal and sinus passages for individuals with elevated histamine and respiratory irritation. So it kind of combines a lot of what you already said
Right.
into one supplement. So for those of you that are looking for supplementation, looking for that extra support, D-Hist is maybe something that you want to look at. But I also have on my list is sauna. to help kind of also drain everything. So here at the Kansas City location, we don't have a sauna. We recommend either going to Hand and Land or Sweat Theory. Those are our Kansas City partners to our saunas. But I know you guys have saunas in New York.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. We have three infrared saunas that are amazing. So it's definitely it's wonderful to come and relax and also drain all your sinuses and just really, yeah, it's wonderful. Even if you
Yes.
don't have seasonal allergies, it's great to reduce inflammation, reduce any pain in your body, and just relax the muscles. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. So then I have some tips and tricks about gardening and organic farming at your house. Unless you have anything else to add for things that they can change in their daily life to add for seasonal allergies. Is that all
Uh,
you had?
yeah, that's just, yeah.
Cool.
Just,
Perfect.
and there's, like I said, there's great Chinese medicine formulas. I know you talked about the supplement.
Hmm.
I tend to use, this is my background. I just tend to use more of the Chinese herbs. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm sure both in combination would be wonderful.
Yeah. Okay, so gardening. For those of you that aren't interested in gardening, that's okay. I also have places where you can go and get your organic foods. But so here are some organic tips and tricks that I've kind of picked up. My family is a big gardening family, and we always have a large garden back home. So I live in an apartment now. It's very hard on my small balcony, but I try to do what I can. The concept of gardening and biodiversity of soil, though, has became a very popular topic that a lot of people have talked about for sustainability purposes, but also for just the health of your soil. The new protocol that people are going towards, a lot of times people used to do like straight, um, like this is my onion, this is my lettuce, this, like straight lines. It's actually becoming more of like a painting where you're mixing and matching and bringing in a lot of these different varieties of plants together. They actually can not only grow better, but keep pest away if you do it that sort of way. And then it also brings extra nutrients into the soil. So maybe look into planting, instead of all of your cucumbers in a line, planting a couple cucumbers, a couple cauliflower, and making more of like a painting of your garden instead of having sections off. That might help with not only the biodiversity, but also the pest control. And leading into that, some people, well, they will actually put lettuce on the outside of your garden. So kind of as a fence per se, but more of like a sacrificial lettuce for any other thing that comes in and eats all, all of your garden all year round. So for those of you that have a lot of rabbits in your yard, that sort of thing, if you put lettuce around the outside of your garden, then you're sacrificing that lettuce to the rabbits, and they will potentially, hopefully, stay away from your food source then. That is one trick that is kind of it's good if you don't have a lot of rabbits, but if you're attracting too many rabbits, then maybe it's not a thing that you want to do, because they'll eat all the lettuce and then go to your garden. So it's kind of a gray area. It's something maybe to try. And if that doesn't work, obviously you can do fencing. But if
Yeah.
you're wanting to stay completely natural, lining your garden in lettuce is potentially something that you look for. Planting flowers around your garden to distract insects as well as pollinate your garden is very important. So for instance, different types of flowers that you can put in are marigolds around your tomato plants. So if you put in marigolds, a lot of the like tomato beetles and that sort of thing will kind of be attracted to those and not your fruit that you're trying to grow. Nasturtiums. Yeah, I don't know how to say it, but it's
Nasturtiums.
yes, thank you.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
yes. Is also very important for
And nasturtiums are edible too.
yes, they are. Yeah.
Put them in salads or make, your dishes look really pretty.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can nasturtiums, is that what you said?
Yeah, nasturtium.
Okay, nasturtiums.
Okay.
You can use as sacrificial plants as well to draw aphids away from the tomato plants. So I know a lot of what I'm talking about is tomato plants, but you can also use another plant called yarrow. Yarrow is very, very frequent here in the Kansas area. I don't know how about New York, but
Yes, we have
um,
quite a bit of yarrow here up here
yeah,
too.
I
Mhm.
love yarrow. I love natural wild yarrow, but yarrow can actually attract a type of wasp that you want in your garden. It's a stingingless parasitic wasp. So it's parasitic because it attacks other beetles and other little buggies that you don't want in your garden. So if you attract this parasitic wasp, it's going to eat all of the larvae of everything else and keep it away. So this wasp is called a trichogramma, Trichogramma. For those of you that was very quick, you also get the recaps, that we send out afterwards. So a trichogramma parasitic wasp is very beneficial with yarrow. And actually, you can buy those wasps. So you can try to attract them in naturally, or you can buy them online and kind of plant them around your garden to keep pests away. A lot of times, garlic and onion is a natural anti-parasitic, what we've talked about before, but it also keeps other sorts of bugs away in your garden. So maybe if you're already planting a lot of onion, maybe sporadically place those onion around other plants that get eaten up a lot. Um, that being said, garlic essential oil can also be very beneficial. So maybe put it in like a spray bottle and just kind of spray around. And so instead of spraying a pesticide, you're then spraying an essential oil around your garden and doing basically the same thing, but in a much healthier way. Basil is also a good plant to be planted around other products because basil is something that pests, once again, do not like. So if you're into herbs, herbs are a great addition for a lot of your foods. I know we talked about last time the herbs to be eating this time of year. So maybe grow your own herbs. Grow your own herbs in your garden and keep those pests away and have so many health benefits while you're at it. Um, some other types of things that you can kind of do that are um, you know, less plant-based. You can also get netting to place over different types of um, over your different types of fruits and vegetables and that sort of thing. It actually keeps thrips away. So thrips are little tiny bugs that will eat a lot of your vegetation, but also it'll keep birds away from your berries and your trees. So I know that netting isn't necessarily the most attractive thing you've ever seen in a garden, but it might help keep everything away. When you're looking at netting, it is important that you also get one that breathes a lot because if you do put it over your plants and it gets very warm, you'll cook your plants and kill them all. So you want one that's breathable and by like, you know, economically sourced, that sort of thing. But they can be really good at keeping your berries and your fruits and your trees and all of that healthy. Things to know right now, if you are thinking about planting a garden for the first time, everything basically can go in right now except for melons, sweet potatoes, and tomatoes. It's a little bit too early for that. They can't handle a frost. So everything else can kind of go in right now, especially in the Kansas City area. Of course, pumpkins, too early for pumpkins. Those are later in the year. But yeah, those are kind of the types of foods that you are wanting to start planting. A lot of people like to talk about sustainability options and putting in your, I just blanked on the words.
You're lucky you can start gardening so early. We have to wait here in New York probably until mid to late May to start planting.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe these tips are a month in advance, a month too early for you
No, it's great. No, for Kansas City, you guys are, yeah,
Yeah.
that's fantastic. You guys get a jump start on it.
Yeah. 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 What I was trying to say earlier is if you guys are wanting to try to make your own biodiverse soil, there are classes and things like that around and how to properly compost. I didn't go into it here, but there's important aspects of composting, making sure your soil's not too hot, making sure it's rotated, that sort of thing. So there are a couple of actual classes that are going on here in Kansas City. There's one this next weekend, last weekend in April, and then there's another one May 13th. Um, It's called Cultivate Kansas City that's putting those on. So that's kind of a resource for those of you in the Kansas City area is Cultivate Kansas City. KC Farm Schools at Gibbs Road is another source, and KC Healthy Kids are three like very nonprofit organizations here in the metro area. If you're wanting to look, the Johnson County Sustainable class is also has a 2-year program and certificate. So say you get really into this and you're wanting a sustainable organic farm certificate, it's actually a 2-year program that the Johnson County Community College puts on, and I've heard it's a very good program. Some other places where if you're not wanting to start your own farm, but things that you can get organic natural food for is the Brookside Farmers Market here in Kansas City. It is the only all organic farmers market in the metro. So if you're wanting completely organic food, the Brookside Farmers Market is where you're at.
Oh, wow.
A lot of you probably already know this, but River Market is where the big farmers market is in Kansas City. But if you actually go to Overland Park on the Kansas side, it was voted the best farmers market in the United States last year.
What is that called, Dr. Kelsey? Which
The
farmers?
Overland Park Farmers Market. So that's a like a suburb basically of Kansas City. And I personally live in Overland Park. I live in the north part of Overland Park. That's kind of where the farmers market is, and it's this huge farmers market. It's absolutely wonderful. But like I said, it was rated the best farmers market in the entire US last year. So if you're in the Kansas City area, it actually opening weekend is this weekend. So there's going to be a lot going on down at the main Overland Park Main Street area.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Other facts about the Kansas area, Miami County, for those of you that live in Johnson County and Miami County, Miami County has the most farms in the state of Kansas because so many people are going to a smaller, more organic sourced farm. They're actually like being able to have more farms. So that's a fun fact. And then for New York people, I Googled and searched a couple of farmers markets around your area. So the Saratoga Farmers Market, the Spa City Farmers Market, and the Glens Falls Farmers Market are all the most highly recommended ones, what I was able to find. So that was kind of
ours typically don't start until May, early May.
Okay.
So I know like the Saratoga Farmers Market doesn't start till May 6th. So we have to wait a little bit longer up here.
Yeah. But by the time this gets put out, by the time this gets aired, it might be close. So yeah, that's something to kind of look for, is just support your local farmers, eat local. I will actually post a link to a list of food venues here in the Kansas City area where they only use local fruits and vegetables to produce the food in the bakery or in the restaurant or whatever, like Bluebird Bistro and stuff like that. For those of you local to Kansas City, are good sources to support your local farmers. So I'll also put like a local farmer like little blurb together for those of you in the KC metro area. And then my take home, which we kind of mentioned earlier, was I'm going to give 2 acupuncture points, and then I'm going to give kind of just a general motion that you can do to help get rid of seasonal allergies. So large intestine 20, it unblocks the nose and dispels wind, which we've talked about before, is a pathogen that when you're outside a lot, it's the back of your neck, causes sore throats, that sort of thing, is just something that disrupts your energy, it disrupts your chi. So this is a good point for that. So it's large intestine 20. Dr. Karen was already pointing at it, but it's
I'm sorry. As soon as you said it, I couldn't help myself.
It's right where the ala of your nose is. So the ala is that little part that you know, kind of curves out of your nose.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just push. We've talked about before how you can stimulate for like 30 seconds or so, and then relax in the 30 seconds or so if you need to do that. Bitong is how I say it. Hopefully that's correct, but it's also for rhinitis. So, you know, nasal inflammation of any kind. It's at the highest point of the nasolabial groove. So the nasolabial groove is, you know, once again, that little curve that you have here at the right end, at the end of your nose. It's actually now at the top part of it. So it's just a little bit above large intestine 20. Did you hear me just sniff? It's already clearing things out for me.
And this is a great point to needle as well. We will needle this in clinic. But you can
And
also get very good results at home with acupressure.
yeah. And when you needle a lot of them, you know, it kind of starts looking like you got whiskers.
And
Yeah.
just make sure, yeah.
You drain.
Yeah.
And then my last thing that I wanted to talk about is your CVG, like tapping. So CV is your conception vessel meridian that runs down the front of your body, right in the midline. And your governing vessel does the exact same down the back of your spine. So if you have a partner, you can actually tap, like if this is their chest, you can tap the front and the back of their body at the same time. Or if it's just yourself, you can tap the front or the back like this. Um, Here in clinic, a lot of times we do the massage gun at the back, on your back right before you leave, either that or tapotement. Dr. Abby loves tapotement, but basically it's just like the action of banging your chest and banging your back to help clear and release any stagnant energy. So we, you know, a lot of times we'll bang the chest. When you're doing this, and if you're having allergies, you're most likely going to cough. So be prepared to cough. But it's basically shaking and rattling and rolling and moving all that stuff up out of your body. So those were my like at home tricks were LI20, Betong, and then the tapotement and the tapping of the front and back of your chest. So yeah, looks like
Thank
we've
you
got
for
about
sharing.
1 minute left of our conversation. Do you have anything to add really quick, Dr. Karen?
If you do have any congestion, like in the lung area or coughing or cupping is also very good.
Yeah,
You can come see us to get some cupping done on the upper back. That's very effective, in addition to the acupuncture and everything else that Dr. Kelsey talked about.
wonderful. Okay, well, thank you guys for all tuning in and watching our video, and have a wonderful spring season.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone. It was a pleasure talking to you, Dr. Kelsey, and thank you so much for sharing your insight. And we're looking forward to a wonderful springtime
Yeah.
with less allergy symptoms.
Wonderful talking to you too.
Okay, take care.
You too.